Today on Nova Legends podcast, I have the great Billy Fields. Billy is the all-time leading scorer in Prince William County High School basketball. Went to Osbourn Park, class of '78, I believe. Billy went to Providence College. Started playing for the great Dave Gavitt, who was I think the first commissioner of Big East basketball. Billy, I think, won a 3-on-3 tournament. I read this somewhere later on in life. You guys won a big ticket 3-on-3 tournament somewhere. Um, Billy's father is also a Manassas guy, Wilmer Fields. He recently he played in the Negro Leagues for the Homestead Graves. He recently all his generation of players are now considered major league players. Wilmer was a pitcher, but he also played third base and outfield, which is something we're seeing again a little bit now, but that was a rarity. Billy, great to meet you, man. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Well, the first thing that sticks out is you and your dad were both born in Manassas, lived in Manassas. I mean, you guys are natives. What is it about Prince William County? Your father was a ball player. He could have gone anywhere. And back then, he was playing, that was the pinnacle of Black African American athletics was the Negro Leagues, and he was a top pitcher. What is it about Manassas and Prince William County that you guys have been so loyal to it all these years?
Well, it was a generational thing, and my grandfather had a farm there, and there were houses on the farm, and all of them were owned by Fields. So he was born on Grant Avenue. I was raised on Grant Avenue, and it's sort of been a family tradition.
You know, is it a historical black neighborhood? Because like I grew up in Fairfax near the Zion Drive. Remember the Zion Drive
Yes.
neighborhood? There were pockets of black neighborhoods throughout the suburbs. Obviously, in Old Town there was a lot more African Americans. But
Mhm.
was that an African American street you lived in, or was it just kind of separate?
Uh, it was, I would say it was a pocket, yes,
Yeah, it
on
was.
our street at towards South Grant Avenue, yes.
Yeah. When you think about Prince William County now, it, uh, it's unreal because the western part of the county is just like the western part of Fairfax County, where Patriot High School is and Battlefield High School is. The county has changed so much. What do you think? Have these been good changes to you? Have you liked the way the county has changed through the years?
Well, every place, especially around the DC area, is going to grow.
Mhm.
And, them bringing in the new high schools and stuff, I think it was a great move. The schools are beautiful. Uh, the sports has picked up. There's a lot of opportunity. So I think it's been a great thing.
Yeah. I mean, do you still love Prince William County? Or is it gotten too congested? Do you still feel the same way about home?
Well, it will always be home,
Right.
but it's changed a lot, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. That property that you guys have is worth a whole lot more money now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, that's good. Well, let's talk about your dad a little bit. And you played baseball as well. And I know
Mhm.
you played a lot of, not necessarily for the high school, but you were playing a lot of sandlot ball, and you had teams looking at you as well because
Uh,
those scouts, they know the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. But let's talk about your dad a little bit. One thing that was interesting to me is he had a chance to play for in the major leagues. His timing wasn't great in that he came near the end of the glory days of the Negro Leagues. So right when he was getting ready, he played a little bit, went to war, and then he came back, and that's when Jackie Robinson and Larry Doby and then the rest of them went to the. But your dad definitely would have had his chances because he was a great player, but he chose not to play. Why is it that your father never wanted to play in the major leagues?
well, when he turned down 5 major league offers, and so the biggest thing was playing with the Grays. He was playing two positions, like you'd mentioned. He'd pitch and play third base. He was making more money playing with the Grays, playing two positions, than he would if he would have signed to play in the majors at the time.
Right, and he was also playing off season in the Caribbean as well.
Yeah,
So
he played in South America and Caracas and Puerto Rico, different places. He'd go down there and play winter ball, they would call
so I guess the major leagues figured that because it was such a honor to play with them
it.
that they didn't have to pay the black players a lot. Is that what was going on or?
Well, obviously, I think that's what was going on, but I think that being able to play two positions at that point for the Grays was where he was making his money.
Yeah.
You know,
How did he get into sports?
he got into sports. He was playing. Him and his brothers. There was they'd have on Sundays they get together and play ball at a park or something. And a guy noticed my dad when he was like 16 or 17 years old. I guess there was an organized team in Fairfax. Uh, and he invited my dad to come down and play. And then I guess my father went down there and played, and he signed his first professional contract with the Grays at 17.
That's right. But he ended up going to Virginia State briefly. Is that right?
Yeah, he went to Virginia State. My whole family went to Virginia State back then.
My dad did
Uh,
too.
oh yeah, and Dad was the quarterback at Virginia State. I didn't know that until 20 years ago. But he was the quarterback there, and then then it went right back to playing baseball.
Went back to playing baseball, right? And did he play baseball for Virginia State also?
No, just football.
Just football, right? Baseball was his favorite sport, or that was where the opportunity was at the time.
He loved baseball. Ever since he was a kid, he used to tell me that that's what he would pray for. He wanted to play professional baseball.
Right.
So,
Did he talk much about his military service?
no, my father he, he was sort of different in a way because he spoke about the military a little bit. Uh, he spoke about his baseball career a little bit.
Mhm.
He really didn't boast. He wasn't that type of person, didn't have that type of personality.
Yeah.
I didn't know about his baseball career. I know he coached me from the time I was 8 years old until I was 18, playing, Little League and Babe Ruth and all that. And, people would come up and say, man, your father knows a lot about baseball, you know. And I really didn't. Then when he became the president of the Negro Leagues, and we would go to the All-Star game every year, and Dad would sign autographs, and Tommy Lasorda came up to me at an All-Star dinner, and he said, "Your father was a great baseball player."
Wow, that's awesome.
That's when it set in. Like, okay, if Tommy Lasorda said that to me,
Oh,
he must have. Then I got to dig into his history and his MVPs and his pitching and wins and losses, and I realized, I mean, he had a great career.
yeah. Well, you had a lot of athleticism, but you had more opportunity. Was your dad the same type of athlete you were?
Uh, he was, baseball wise, it was off the chart. Uh, we throw football. He never touched a basketball.
Mm.
I got that from my brother. I had an older brother that I sort of followed around when I was a little kid into the gyms and stuff. But and we played golf. That's what he would play with his teammates.
Yeah.
So I picked up golf when I was like 8 years old.
Yeah. So you were way too young to ever see your father play in these leagues.
I never saw him play in an organized baseball game. I did go down to Puerto Rico when he was 50, and the American old timers played against the Puerto Rican old timers. I've been to some of those games,
Yeah.
but I never got to see him play. When I was born, that's when he retired, 59.
Yeah. Now, was he a celebrity? When he walk around, when people say that, that's Wilmer Fields. Did you notice that about his
Well,
action?
I noticed people would come up and talk to him and this and that. I remember going to Puerto Rico. I went down there to play basketball one time, and they in the San Juan paper it said the son of Wilmer the Great, and I was like, Wilmer. I called Dad. I said, Dad, you were called Wilmer the Great down here. He goes, yeah, that's what they called me.
That's amazing.
So he was very, very laid back in his accomplishments. I mean, but I got, like I said, later on in life, people spoke to me about what he did, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I don't think we can really put it into perspective because the opportunities that we had are so much different than
That's different.
it's
Yeah.
just it's hard to even to know. Like my son and I will argue he's a soccer player. He'll say that that Lionel Messi is better than Pele, And I'm like, you had no idea what Pelé went through. So you know what? But you can't win an argument with kids.
Right.
It's like the Jordan and LeBron days.
LeBron, yeah,
You
yeah.
just,
Well, you'll be hearing that one for the next 20 years, you
yeah, and
know.
I'm just like, I try to show them videos of the violence in the NBA in the '80s and stuff. I'm like, this was grown men stuff. This
Yeah, the
wasn't
game
three
has
quarters.
changed. Yeah.
He doesn't get it.
No.
Um, one thing about Homestead Grays I was curious about is
Mhm.
they played in Pittsburgh and in DC, and I know you weren't even born yet,
Yeah.
but why? So the team had two home bases. Did you?
Yes, they would play some of their games in DC, and then they obviously their home base was home in Pittsburgh, but they would draw like on Sundays. I mean, 20,000, 25,000.
Wow.
Uh, and this is for a Negro League baseball game.
Yeah.
So they drew wherever they played at. I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
Did he live in Pittsburgh or did he always come back home or
he
did he
would
stay in a
all
hotel?
he would always wherever he was playing at, he would live,
He would live right.
and then he would come home for a little bit, and then he would take off to South America to play winter ball.
Yeah. Did your dad seem wealthy? Did he seem like a wealthy guy?
I believe he was wealthy in his beliefs.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, that's sort of
Yeah,
the way I looked at my father. But I mean, back then, I think in the '40s, he made $2,400 a month, which back then that was a lot of money.
that was a lot of money.
You're right, you know.
Yeah,
But we lived, we were middle class. Everything was good,
yeah.
happy.
What are your memories growing up in Prince William County? Like, for example, the race relations growing up. Was it a happy place to grow up for you?
I think Manassas itself, when I was growing up and going to school, I thought it was a great place because it was small. It wasn't not nowhere close to what it is now. Everybody knew everybody. Uh, it was just different. It was a good place to grow up.
And you felt like the white kids and the black kids there was harmony. The kids got along, played ball together, and all. Yeah, good memory.
Well, that was not. I think before that, my brother was a little bit, you know, 12 years older than me.
Mhm.
I saw that that age group deal with it because the schools weren't segregated.
That's
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
so I got a chance. I was a kid, at the time, and I'd go to his football games and his basketball games and stuff. So I got to see that, and it's interesting.
Yeah, him and your father went to the same school. By the time he was there, I think they were calling it Jenny Dean. Is that right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
My aunt went to Jenny Dean.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Took the bus from Vienna every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it changed. I mean, I got to see the integrate, when they started integration, and it was I think the players themselves, because I have some guys that I looked up to, when I was in elementary and junior high school, and they were sort of going through the change and everything. I thought it went smooth,
Yeah.
but it's always out there.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. So how did you first get into basketball? I think you mentioned your brother played. Was he
yeah.
was he a good player and you tried to play like your brother?
Well, he played three sports. He went to Delaware State,
Hmm.
and he played football and baseball.
Hmm.
He didn't play basketball, but the basketball team at Jenny Dean they'd come over to the house, and Coach Ellis was the coach, and I was just sitting at the table like, this is incredible. I thought I had an NBA team at my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that sort of got me flowing into the game, loving the game of basketball. But I loved baseball too. So, uh, but that's what sort of got me going to the playgrounds and stuff.
Yeah. That was like you were to me with Billy Fields, Mike Tissall. These
Yeah,
guys I grew up with, I'm like, they were gods to me.
right.
I hope Pete Holbert's not watching, but even Pete Holbert and guys, a little bit younger, but Tommy Hamilton.
Right.
I mean, those guys, that's where we learn. How about like pro or college players? Did you have any players you tried to emulate at a young age?
I just enjoyed watching a high level of ball.
Yeah.
There were a couple of guys in Manassas. One guy was Wayne Robinson, and he played at well, it's Unity Reed now. It was
Yeah.
Stonewall,
Hmm.
and I would, I was in junior high, would go to his games, and I just thought, him and his cousin, they were playing the one and the two. And then Ron Pennell, who was a little bit older than they were, he played at Osbourn High School, and I would go to their games when I was kids, and they were a big influence on me.
Yeah.
And obviously, my brother, we'd go to the playgrounds and stuff, and I'd hang out get to see him play.
Did you guys have like travel or back then? I think we called it we called it, what do we call it? We didn't call it travel, did we? We called it county ball in Fairfax. But did you guys have like a select league at the time?
No, I played in one AAU game my whole life.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
see these kids today with all this opportunity, and it's pretty incredible,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, Billy, you're about 6'6", right?
6'5",
You're 6'5". I
right.
was trying to help you out there, man.
I
You gotta
know. Well,
learn.
that's
Yeah,
the college program, six
exactly.
six.
Yeah, yeah. You got to learn how to take a compliment, Billy. But back then we put big guys in the lane. And I remember you were a great shooter in the day before the 3-pointer. When did you start shooting the ball outside?
I look back and think I had a basket in the yard in the driveway, and I can't even tell you how many hours when I was a kid. I would just go out there by myself and shoot, 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 and I mean, that's what I enjoy doing, And then they started opening up the gyms once in a while for, open play and stuff. And, my dad would drop me off and I'd play. And so that's sort of how I got started.
Yeah. So when you think about your ball handling and all the other parts of your game,
Mhm.
um, that just was kind of trial and error. That just came from playing pickup and
Right,
those kind of things, right? It
right.
wasn't so much you had great coaching at a young age.
No, it was just something that, I shot a lot in the yard on the basket, and it just sort of kept building, building, building. And next thing
Yeah.
you know, things came full circle.
Yeah. Where did you guys play your pickup ball back then?
Around here, we would play at Ben Lomond Park.
Yeah.
Uh, as I got older, we'd go down to Nottoway.
You were done? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, go to Nottoway, and you get a good pick there. Uh, Wakefield Park.
Yeah. Of course.
That was the Wakefield Park. As soon as I got my driver's license, that was every Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
So we drive down to Wakefield Park. I took a crew with me. Uh, and TJ, different places. We were always looking for competition,
Yeah.
you know.
We we thought Wakefield Park was heaven. They had the
Oh,
pool in there. They had we had the football. It was ever. They had the softball. We thought it was the most unbelievable complex
right,
ever. And I was a little bit. I mean, I'm sure I was there when you were there, but you were playing on the big court, and I was probably in the pool or something.
right.
Who was in your crew that would come with you to Wakefield?
Oh, I just had some guys that played with me in high school, Mike Slusher. Uh, but the guys that would come in there on a Saturday morning,
Yeah.
they came from DC, they came from Maryland. I mean, you had some, it was good ball,
Yeah.
you
When,
know.
when did you realize that you were different? You were special.
Uh, I think in high school, I, I I was always humble. I was never thinking, well, I know my junior year averaged I think I averaged 28 a game my junior year.
Yeah.
And then I started getting some, colleges getting interested. And then my senior year, I think I was like 40.1 and 18 boards I averaged. And I was just, but the thing is, I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm out here playing hard and it's just happening. And then, now that I look back, I'm like, wow, that's,
Yeah.
some big numbers.
40, 40 points a game. I know you were tired after those games. I mean, Billy, explain to me how Osborne to Osborne Park. I always get confused. I know that Osborne has been around for a long time, but they closed, and then Osborne Park, the Manassas Park in the city of Manassas
Uh-huh.
started their own schools, and the name switched. Can you kind of explain that to me real quick?
Well, Osborne has been around forever.
Right.
Before the schools integrated, it was all white school. Jenny Dean was all black. So then they integrated. and Osbourn became the high school in Manassas.
Mm.
Uh, then in 1976, they built Osbourn Park. So you had depending where your line was, where you lived at, you could go, Osbourn to Osbourn Park. I know at one time we had split shifts or something was going on, but that's when it split. Osbourn had, then was Osbourn Park.
Yeah. And then at the same time, like I think Garfield had opened like 6 years earlier. And
Uh-huh.
so the growth was really starting to happen right about then. The schools were,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So who'd you play for in high school at Osborne Park?
Art Payne was my varsity coach. I didn't play my freshman year, sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Yeah.
Mike Shimmering, who was the assistant coach, was a academic All-American, I think, out of William and Mary,
Right.
and he could have coached in college. I
Wow.
mean, he was that knowledgeable. Played overseas a little bit, I think. Knew the game. He was a big influence on me.
That was the first real coaching you ever had?
Well, when I was 10, Stu Vetter coached me,
Oh, okay.
who
Yeah.
coached at
The
Flint
Flint Hill
Hill,
coach. Yeah.
and Montrose Christian, who coached Durant. Uh, he coached me then. He was young. But Coach Sloan coached me like some summer ball and stuff like that. But really, Payne and Mike Shimmering were really the coaches that I had, first coaches.
Right. What was the style of play that you guys adopted?
Well, my sophomore year, we were okay. My junior year, we had a nice squad. We made it to the regions. We got knocked out by William Fleming out of Roanoke,
Wow.
and we were halfway decent, but TC Williams had the bomb squad. So I think they beat William Fleming by 30 in the state finals.
Right.
So they were loaded.
Did,
Yeah,
did you
back
know
then.
those? That was Willie Jackson and
Yeah, oh
Frank
yeah,
Hollis.
I know that.
So you know all those guys?
I don't know them personally. I know who they are.
Right.
You know.
Exactly. You were a country boy, right? So
Right. Well, Manassas back then, that was a part of the problem. We were considered country,
yeah.
and you're not playing against anybody. And I heard all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just probably made you more determined in some ways.
Well, you keep hearing it, and then I got picked for the Metro Classic, so I got to play against. It was before the Capital Classic,
Hmm.
so I got to play against like the DC City, DC Public, Maryland. So it was four teams there.
Yeah.
And Garfinkel, I don't know if you've heard of
Yeah.
Garfinkel.
Of course. The
He
five
right, he
star guy.
wrote. He would write his little thing, and my write up that Garfinkel put in his little magazine was terrible.
Wow.
Like where I'm coming from, where I played at, and I'm not fast enough to get. Then he was at the Metro Classic, they called it, and I think I put up 30 and 30 on both nights. So then I got invited to play in the McDonald's Classic,
Wow.
uh,
Is
which
that
was
where?
an honor.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Is that when Providence? First spotted you?
Yeah. Well, the whole Providence thing started with Coach Thompson, and Coach Thompson went to Providence,
That's right. Yeah.
and the Big East hadn't started yet.
Hmm.
So it started my sophomore year in college, and so Georgetown was recruiting me, and they just signed Eric Smith out of Bladensburg. We played sort of the same position. They had Sleepy. They had a bomb squad.
Right.
Georgetown did,
Yeah.
and then Coach Thompson said something about Providence, and I never heard of Providence because I grew up in ACC,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and Coach Gavitt called. He said, "Hey, can we come down and talk to you?" So Coach Gavitt and Coach Adams came down. I was actually pitching the game that day, and they came down to the game and stuff, and we talked. And he told me, he said, "We've had 8 20-game seasons in a row, and I've lost my whole starting five."
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there going, like, I wanted to go somewhere where I had the opportunity to play.
Yeah.
And I went there my freshman year. I set the freshman scoring record at Providence under Dave Gavitt. Then he left, and they brought in these other coaches.
Yeah. What was Dave Gavitt like? So Dave
Incredible.
Gavitt is so influential
Mhm.
to not only basketball but sports. What he did with the Big East and the Big East's relation to the ESPN, and then he really elevated college basketball, helped put ESPN on the map. It's hard to overstate Dave Gavitt's importance. As a coach, at the time, was he over coaching? Was he looking at other things, or was he still very much into coaching basketball by the time he coached you?
When he coached, we had no clue what was going on with the Big East. We had no clue what was going on with ESPN. All that stuff was going on behind the curtains, you
Mm,
know. And I wish I could have had him for 4 years
yeah,
because he was my kind of coach. You get an open shot, you take it,
yeah,
and it worked. I wish I could have had him for 4 years. I know he went on to bigger and better things. Uh, Great coach, great human being. Between Dave Gavitt and John Thompson, the highest regards and respect.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I I believe the first game you ever played in your college game you played against Boston College.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why I asked you that is because that was the same Boston College team that got involved in the point shaving scandal that year.
Right.
And did you ever hear about that when you were playing that year?
Okay. After that happened, uh, the agents, the FBI would come in and talk to us because that area up there is known for stuff like that.
Yeah,
So they would come and talk to us. Once in a while you get telephone calls out of the blue. Hey, is so and so playing tonight? Who's this? They wouldn't say. So it was going on. You
yeah,
know, especially the Big East at that time it got stronger than the ACC.
yeah.
With at the beginning. So it was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So what was the ECAC like? Now, for folks that have forgotten, ECAC was a collection of Eastern schools, and the reason why they eventually had to put the Big East together is because there was no way to get into the NCAA tournament without a conference and then a postseason tournament. And the Big East was the conduit in which those big Eastern schools were able to do that. But what were your memories of the ECAC, playing in small gyms and things like that?
Uh, Not really. We played a lot of the big schools that we were going to be in the conference with the following year.
Hmm.
Uh, it was just a bunch of independent schools that weren't connected to any conference at the time,
Yeah,
and it was this ECAC.
yeah.
You know, uh, but as soon as they started the Big East, and that was it, just you forgot about the ECAC. You
Yeah.
know.
What were your first memories of Providence? Country boy coming into a big city. Did you like it?
Well, I never forget my parents when they drove me up there. Obviously, we got there a couple weeks early. You're coming in as a freshman. I came in with six freshmen because, like I said, they lost their starting five. And I'll never forget my mom. They drove me up, dropped me off at the dorm, and I'm sitting on the step. And my mom is like, we have to go back and get him. He can't stay here. And my dad's like, if he gets in this car, he'll never come back. And my dad, he joked about it. He goes, you were sitting on the step like a beaten dog. But it turned out, after, you get you get to meet the players and you start practicing, start going to class and stuff. So it didn't take long to get used to it. I loved it. My friends that still have friends from today from the school.
Did you feel Osbourn Park prepared you academically for Providence?
Uh, in a lot of ways, yes. I mean, I did just as good in Providence that I did at Osbourn Park. So,
Yeah.
but when you're taking all the credits and everything, uh, and playing, plus you're playing ball, it's we had a rule that if you had under, I think it was a 2.8 or 2.7, you had to go mandatory study hall.
Hmm.
So my biggest thing was not to go to study hall, because after practice, I didn't want to sit in a room for 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my motivation. So Yeah, it was a great Providence was a great experience.
Yeah. Well, Dave Gavitt steps down and becomes Big East commissioner, and Gary Walters becomes your coach.
Mhm.
Um, what was Gary Walters like? What was his coaching style?
Well, he came from Dartmouth, and so when he came in, my thing is you are you're there at the program, you're going to Providence, you need to buy into the system. You know, when we first got there, he sort of let us play like we were playing prior with Dave Gavitt. So we had three players that were averaging like 15 to 17 points a game, three of us. And then right at holiday break, and that's when you start your Big East games, after the break. He decided that there was no shot clock, there was no 3-point line. He decided he wanted he wanted to have the best defensive team in the country. So, so I mean, we had one guy, Rudy Williams, who I
Yeah,
thought if he would have had Gavitt for 4 years, he'd have played in the league.
yeah, he was a
So,
good
yeah.
player.
But the problem was, he wanted 12 passes, 14 passes. Everyone's shot got cut in half.
Yeah.
So it took some getting used to.
So it was more maybe the coach than the actual Big East. If you think if you would have had if Gavitt would have stayed, the team's trajectory would have stayed going
Oh
positive.
yeah, yeah. I think it would have been positive. I don't know, when you say they won 8-20 game, they had 8-20 game seasons in a row. I don't know if we would have had 8-20 game seasons in the Big East back then. But I think we had the talent to have a better record. I'll put it
Yeah.
to you that way.
Yeah. Well, what did you think about this Big East thing when you first heard about it? I mean, did you have any idea that one day you'd be playing with Patrick Ewing against Patrick Ewing, Chris
Mhm.
Mullin, Ed Pinckney, uh, Fanone? I mean, it was such an exciting time for basketball, and I was watching all those games on Monday
Mhm.
nights. It was just a great time. Could you have any idea what you're getting yourself into?
No, no,
Yeah.
no clue. I mean, it was just, we heard about the conference and we saw the schedule. I think I went down to Madison Square Garden with the coach for media day. Uh, and all the coaches were there from the Big East, which was, I mean, Conaseca, everyone was there, and so it was. I knew it looked like something big was about to happen. And then we played a Monday. They used to have the Monday night Big East game
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
and we played at the Carrier Dome, and it was 30,000, like
Wow.
20. I was like, this is big time. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it put you on a much bigger stage than
Oh
you
yeah,
did.
by far.
Yeah. And you were, I mean, I remember I watched you play numerous times. The
Uh-huh.
Big East players were a household name because even on the West Coast, it wasn't like now where you had your choice of conferences on a Monday night. Big
Right.
East was the only game in town on Monday nights.
Right.
Everybody across the country was watching you guys. So
Right.
it
No, it
must have
was it
been,
was a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah. It was on a big stage. Now was the team didn't do great as you
No.
mentioned
Mhm.
under Walters and later on Joseph Mullaney.
Mhm.
Did it dampen your experience at Providence? I mean, was it still an amazing time, or did losing kind of take its toll?
Losing takes its toll,
Yeah,
especially if you want to win.
yeah,
It's you always think it's going to get better, but those the 3 years. I mean, it was enjoyable, but it takes a little piece out of you.
yeah,
When you're trying to play, you want to win, and I'm sure if they had to transfer a porthole back then, I'm sure that a lot of guys would have transferred. You know.
yeah. How, how about your game? Did your game develop the way you wanted it to? I felt like, I mean, you were such a legend around here. There's,
Mhm.
and the thing that made you even more legendary is because we didn't see you a lot because you're a Prince William. That
Right.
even made you stand out even more. There's this guy out there who's just scoring 40 points a game that no one's ever seen. Do you
Right.
do you feel like that was difficult on your development playing for coaches that maybe weren't like the best?
Well, I think that I had some offers to go to private schools when I was a sophomore, when I was a junior. Uh, I think when I look back now, I think that would have been a better area for me to grow as a basketball player.
Hmm.
Because
Oh, you're talking
obviously,
about high school.
high school,
Yeah, gotcha. Mhm.
right? Because now, the kids now, I try to. A lot of parents call me here and there over the years. Hey, what should my son do? I'll go see him play. And these private schools, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Plus, nowadays they reclass.
it's a whole different game.
Yeah, it's kind of it's really
Uh-huh.
changed calculus. When you look back at some of those players that you played against,
Mhm.
who are some of the great ones that stand out, and maybe some of the ones that everyone doesn't always talk about, like for example, Ed Pinckney or Ewing. We know how great they were, but who are some of the guys you look back on that were just beast players?
Well, obviously, I'd say Mullins was exceptional.
Yeah,
Daryl Griffin was exceptional.
right. For
Uh,
Louisville?
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
their whole team was
yeah. They
exceptional.
were.
They had a nice squad.
They had a nice squad.
Walter Berry,
Walter Berry, yeah.
you know, Syracuse. They had the Louis and Bowie show. They had Routens,
Yeah,
Leo Routens, uh, Red Bruin, Sanford. Syracuse was loaded.
they were
you
loaded.
know.
Yeah,
But Georgetown to me was the toughest team to play
yeah.
because even when you beat them and you went to the locker room, you were mentally and physically beat.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
That
And it
was
was
the
a
whole
weird feeling.
that was the whole idea, right?
I
So,
know.
well, I'm sure one of the best moments of your career, definitely of your college career, is when you guys beat Georgetown the year they lost to UNC in the final, the
Yeah,
famous Freddie Brown game. You
right.
guys beat them that year. Do you remember that game? I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
you
we
do.
we beat them at their place, I think.
That's right. So what happened in that game?
Uh, we were just knocking down shots and the ball sort of was going our way. Otis had a good game.
Yeah,
Uh, I think I might have had like 18 something. I'm not sure,
yeah,
but everybody stepped up,
yeah.
and no, that was a big win. But when you beat like that night, I remember going back to the room and I felt like I lost because Thompson, I thought he had always had great players. They were coached and they D'd you up.
Yeah.
They tried to lock you down.
Did you talk to him? Did you talk to him after the game?
Oh yeah, we talked. Because I almost went to Georgetown.
Right.
And we would talk before the game. If he'd see me before a game, we talk.
Yeah.
After the game, we talk. I've seen him at the airports. I went to the Madison Square Garden to a Big East tournament, and his son was coaching Georgetown.
That's right.
And I was sitting right behind Georgetown's bench. And I looked down and I saw Coach Thompson. And at halftime, he was walking past me, and I said, "Hey, Coach." And I went out there, and the security guard stopped me, and he said, "Let him through." And I went out there, and I have most respect for Coach Thompson.
Yeah. What a great man.
Oh, what he's done for basketball is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially black coaches as well.
yeah.
Um, what was Otis Thorpe like? He had a great pro career. I remember the first time I saw him play, he was a great physical specimen. His game was a little unorthodox, but you knew he was going to be a great player. Well, in your eyes, what was he like to play with?
Well, when he first arrived at Providence, he'd only been playing basketball for 2 years.
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell.
Yeah, but I remember when he got there, I think I was co-captain, and coach goes, "You need to go talk to Otis. You need to go talk to Otis." And I looked at Otis. I said, "Otis, like you've been blessed." I mean, he didn't lift weights. He looked like massive. He had these big hands, and then all of a sudden his game started coming around, and Otis was legit.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's a
great.
good guy too. He was a great teammate.
Oh, that's great. Are you guys still in touch today?
Well, when Coach was up at the coach of Georgetown was coaching at Providence, we would have a get together every year.
Okay.
So that was the last time I saw Otis.
Okay.
But we stay in touch through different players and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. So they brought an old timer back your last year named Joseph Mullany,
Uh-huh.
who had coached at Providence, I think in the 50s and the 60s.
Right, right.
What was going on with that, and what was Coach Mullany like?
Well, he coached at Brown University. He'd coached the Lakers.
Oh,
Uh, I think he was sort of like at the end of his career. He was a very nice person, had a lot of basketball knowledge, you know. Uh, so it was just sort of, that was my senior year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Billy, do you remember, if you watched the Big East special on ESPN, they talk about lots of the fights, and I remember lots of those fights. Was it a very much a game of intimidation back then?
Uh, I think you're intimidating. The only school that was, to me, and I wouldn't say it was intimidated, but you had to have your game face on was playing Georgetown.
Right.
Everybody else they were good. Syracuse, George, Villanova, everybody was solid.
Yeah.
So every night, it was a good game.
Yeah. Did you know the Georgetown players pretty well?
Just from playing them, and I talked to Sleepy when we were playing once in a while. We'd say talk to each other during the game and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So Billy, so what happened next? Did you get a chance to try out for the pros? I don't remember what happened next.
No, I didn't get a chance, and then I just, I still played ball, like different leagues and stuff like that, and just started working. You
Just start,
know,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I think I don't know what in the early '90s, I think, or late '80s, uh, I get a call to go play in a 3-on-3 tournament.
Yeah.
You know, so that started everything back up, and I still had basketball camps and stuff like that. So I always had my hands on the ball.
Yeah. Do you think in today's game you would have been a much different player? I think today's game would have suited you really, really well.
Okay. Well, according to my teammates, today's game would suit me perfect because they said I never played defense. And they let you shoot the three. I mean, I would have loved to have the opportunity to play this time.
Yeah, exactly right.
So
Billy, you mentioned to me earlier this year that you guys are putting together like a reunion, maybe a barbecue or a reunion for guys who used to play pickup in the area. Why don't you tell us about that?
well, September 27th at 4 o'clock at the Farm Brewery in Haymarket, Virginia. Uh, it's everyone who played ball at like Nottoway Park, Wakefield Park, TJ, like in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s. We're just getting together, meet and greet, people I haven't seen in many, many years. But the response has been incredible.
Yeah.
So if anyone knows anybody who played at the playground during those times at those different places, Ben Lomond Park, Stonewall Park, and Manassas, like come out.
Yeah.
It's no invitation. Just
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah, I'm going to put all the contact information below in the comment section, also
Okay.
on our social media groups. And I'm sure you get a lot of people, and they could be from Warrenton or Culpeper or whatever.
Warrington, Culpeper. I talked to C. Russell.
Yeah, I told you, all you got to do is tell C, and
Everybody knows C, right?
everybody will see.
So
Yeah,
C. Russell. I talked to the Fitzhugh brothers. They're big Nottoway guys, and
yeah,
and they had everyone's number. So everyone's been calling back and forth, and I can't wait. It'd be great to see everybody.
yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. So, Billy, have you coached through the years? Did you stay involved in the game?
No, I had a basketball camp for about 15 years over at George Mason University in Manassas
Okay,
at the Freedom Center.
it's Freedom Zone. Yeah.
So I had a camp over there for about 15 years. COVID shut it down,
Okay.
and I'm so busy with work now until I don't have time to start it up. But I enjoyed it while it was going on, and I do get calls from here and now and then. Hey, can you help my son out, or can you come watch him play? And I like seeing these young kids experience something, positive.
Yeah, the kids really hone in on the technique now. Back when me and you played, we would play pickup all the time.
Right.
But now the kids really and the parents especially they really want the kids to get the technique right.
They got the trainers, they got the facilities. Uh, it's pretty incredible to see.
Yeah, Billy, when you look back on your career, I mean, you're this local legend, a very talented player. Do you have any regrets when you look back on your career, things that you wish you would have done differently, or you feel like you played your ball, you did your thing, and you're still the same guy you always were?
Yeah, I don't. I feel like I've been blessed to experience everything that I've experienced. Although obviously everybody wanted to play in the league, but all the traveling I did, playing different places, and I mean it's been a blessing.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Did you have kids that played ball?
No, I
You,
didn't have any kids to play ball. No.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
The Billy Fields, the Wilmer Fields. You're Wilmer Jr., right?
Correct.
Yeah, the legacy ended with you. Well, look, Billy, man, this has been great talking to you, man. I really admired you so much from afar, but again, we didn't know that much about you up here.
Right.
It was like this legend that we heard about, and then I watched you on TV do your thing.
Uh-huh.
Those are such formative years in college basketball that you were a part of. So this when I was preparing for this, it was so much fun to go back and to read your story because I remember those days. It was so much fun,
Right.
and I'm
Right.
sure people probably come up to you all the time and want to talk about those days, don't they?
Yeah, but it's funny. Sometimes they'll say something. You remember this? Well, it's been so long, I didn't forgot about it.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
no, it's pretty. I still enjoy sitting around, talking to my former players and stuff. We always have a good time.
Yeah. Have you stayed involved with baseball at all? Have you do anything with baseball?
Well, I'm going to speak on the 19th of September at Jacobs Field for my father.
Okay.
So I get asked to speak, in his honor. I always try to, anytime I get asked, I always say yes,
Yeah.
to
And
try
that's
to
really
keep.
that's really picked up. That's really picked up in the last 3 or 4 years.
Well, once they made the Negro League stats, Major League stats, it sort of got noticed again, and the thing is, I got an opportunity to, when I was a kid, to meet a lot of those ball players that these people talk about now, like Satchel Paige and stuff like that.
Yeah. Did you ever meet Hank Aaron?
Never met Hank Aaron,
Yeah.
Willie Mays. I mean, I've had dinner. I was sitting at a table with Sosa, McGuire, and Randy Johnson eating
Wow.
dinner. So I was riding my parents' coattails. But it's been a great experience. I don't have any complaints.
The funny thing is, they had no idea what a great athlete you were, probably.
Well, I'm sitting there, sitting in front of all these people are Hall of Famers.
I guess
So
so. Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Well, you're in the Osbourn Park Hall of Fame, isn't that right,
Yeah,
Bill?
yeah. I'm happy for that. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, Billy, I look forward to seeing you in September. Any help I can provide in getting the word out, I definitely will do so. But man, this has been great, man. It's good to get good to meet you, and maybe at some point, we can get a coffee. If not, I'll definitely see you at the barbecue.
I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, it's great, Billy. Thanks again for doing this.
All right, take care.
All right, bud. Take care, buddy. Yeah.
Bye.